R.S.V. வந்த சாவு லட்சுமணாராயணன் இருக்காரு. அங்கே ஜட்ஜஸ் அவினாஷ் ஒரு பேனிங் ஒய்டே வரலையே
Ramesh.
TV there. No, I won't watch it. You have to use space. It doesn't matter, I'll stand.
be make him sit in the center. Time I'd say. Justice K.V.Viswanathan.
அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணிங்கன்னா வந்துடுவாங்க.
Sine. Then you get it.
Yes. Please have it. Come, Chief.
Hon'ble Justice K.V.Viswanathan, Judge Supreme Court of India, our Hon'ble Chief Justice, Hon'ble Judges, Hon'ble former judges, respected senior advocates, and my dear members of the bar, good afternoon to one and all. Today we have two programs. One is felicitation to Justice K.V.Viswanathan, being a son of the soil, appointed as a judge of the Hon'ble Apex Court. When we interacted with the Honorable Justice K.V.V., Lordship said, instead of felicitation, you just change the invitation as to meet and greet. It shows how the Honorable Judge is having such a closeness with each and every member of the association. Second is the library section in the name of R.S. Venkatachari. Everybody knows, father of senior advocate Mr. V. Raghavachari and father of Hon'ble Justice V. Lakshminarayanan, and three daughters. I will say a few words about the late senior Mr. R.S. Venkatachari. Mr. R.S. Venkatachari was born on 27th August 1928 in Thiruvananthapuram, a village near Kadalur. Enrolled as an advocate on 23rd July 1951. Mr. Venkatachari's career at the bar has spanned just 4 decades. He attained the peak of his profession by hard work and sheer ability. He had lucrative practice from the beginning of his career till his death. He had all types of work and he appeared in all the courts including Hon'ble Apex Court. His areas of specialization included sale tax, service, labor jurisprudence, land tenure, company law, constitutional law and personal laws, particularly the Hindu law. Mr. Venkatachari was very active and was always moving from one court to another. Mr. Venkatachari was slow in his submission, but at the same time was forcible without raising his voice. Mr. Raghavachari. Naturally, he will follow the footsteps of his father. He had evolved a particular way of advocacy for himself. Sri Venkatachari was popularly known as RSV to his friends. Apart from his contribution in the field of law, where he had a tight grip not only on the principles but also on the case law, he had involved himself with social activities as well. Mr. Venkatachari was fond of case laws and used to cite number of rulings. He had a very strong memory and used to remember all the important rulings. He was very jovial and friendly with all the members of the bar. Justice Lakshmanaran. Mr. Venkatachari was regularly contributing articles on different topics to our esteemed law journal. The Madras Law Journal has published almost all the articles written by him. He served as secretary of the Madras High Court Advocate Association during 1980 to 1982. It may not be out of place to mention that his love for a profession was so great that he stood first in the state of Madras, then Madras Presidency in the Civil Service Examination IAS and All India 7th, and yet he preferred to practice as a lawyer rather than join in the civil services. Mr. R.S. Venkatachari died on 26th March 1991 peacefully. He is survived by his sons, Mr. V. Raghvachari, Senior Advocate, Hon'ble Mr. Justice V. Lakshmanaran, Judge of this Hon'ble High Court, daughters, Mrs. B. Shanti, who was a director in ONGC, Mrs. V. Sumadi, Advocate, and Mrs. V. Srimadi, my law college mate, practicing advocate in this court, and grandson, Mr. Avinash Wadhwani, Advani, advocate. Among them, Mr. V. Raghvachari, Mr. V. Lakshmanaran, and V. Sumadi, and Mr. Avinash Wadhwani are members of this esteemed association. Then, being this 158 years old association, it is time to greet and honor our Honorable Justice K.V. Viswanathan. Honorable Mr. Justice Viswanathan, K.V. Viswanathan was born on 26th May 1966. His Lordship graduated from Coimbatore Law College and enrolled with the Bar Council of Tamil Nadu in the year 1988. Sri K.V. Viswanathan joined under the senior advocates Sri C.S. Vaidyanathan and Sri K.K. Venugopal from 1988 to 1995 during his early years of practice. His Lordship was designated as senior advocate by Supreme Court of India in the year 2009. As senior advocate, he argued important constitutional bench cases and has appeared in several reported cases in diverse branches of law like constitutional law, criminal law, commercial law, securities law, insolvency code, arbitration, etc. before the Honorable Supreme Court and Honorable High Courts throughout India, which includes Madras High Court also. He was appointed as the Additional Solicitor General of India in the year 2013. He has also been privileged to assist the Supreme Court of India as an amicus curiae in a large number of matters. He was also a member of the editorial board of Supreme Court cases, HCC, the most cited law reports in our country. He keeps his interest in academics going by taking the time to interact with the students through his lectures across the country and providing practical advice to them on joining the profession. His Lordship was appointed as Judge of this Honorable Supreme Court of India on 19th May 2023. With this, I conclude. I welcome the Honorable Justice K.V. Viswanathan and the Honorable Chief Justice and the Honorable Judges of this Honorable Court. And this is being 10th library section being opened by the Honorable Chief Justice in our tenure, and 64th library section of this esteemed association. on behalf of the Madras Bar Association, I request Honorable Chief Justice to present a shawl to Honorable Justice K.V. Viswanathan.
With folders.
Thank you, Chief.
Welcome to your own bar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And yes, I request the Honorable Chief Justice to give this memento.
Thank you so much.
A small memento. On behalf of the Madras Bar Association, I am presenting a Angostharam to Honorable Chief Justice.
Why to me?
Yes, yes.
Right, not necessary.
I request the family members to present a bouquet. Senior Advocate Mr. Raghavachari, shawl and bouquet.
Okay, வாங்க சார்.
அது எடுத்து வை. ஒன்று வைங்க. இல்லை புக்கு மாதிரி
Brother, not to me.
I request Mrs.R.S.Venkatachari, Saroja Venkatachari to present a bouquet to Honorable Justice K.V. Viswanathan.
Sir, please. She is unable to.
One second.
I'll close it. I request Honorable Justice K.V. Viswanathan to say a few words.
So nice to have a feel of the lectern after a month and argued for very long. Honorable Chief Justice of the High Court of Madras, Shri Justice Gangapurwala, Honorable Judges of the High Court of Judicature at Madras, Honorable retired judges, distinguished senior advocates,
One second. Age, welcome. Age is.
Learned Advocate General, Shri Shanmuga Sundaram, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is almost surreal here because it's the first time I have entered the Madras Bar Association without the robes of a lawyer. Though I haven't practiced here, Chief Justice, I have had the good fortune of coming for some very important cases which is to go on for a considerable period of time. And the first port of call every morning would be the office of the Madras Bar Association to partake of the coffee and to meet the senior members and friends there. I have very fond memories of coming here. So what I would want to do in this brief speech is, and I promise it will not be very long just because I have got the lecture, is to just recollect for my own memory and for nostalgia some of the memorable events in my life associated with the Madras High Court and consequently with the Madras Bar Association. But at the outset, it is a deep honor, President Mr. Kamalnathan, Mr. Srinivasan, and the executive committee members of the association, should have mentioned in the salutation at the outset, that you have invited me to meet and greet. This is for more than one reason. Not only is the Madras Bar Association one of the oldest associations perhaps in the world, with the standing of about 158 years, it is perhaps one of the few associations which have come in for express praise by the Apex Court in its judgments. And not just praise, it is praise for upholding the independence of the judiciary. So when I did a brief homework on this, found two memorable passages, the gist of which is as follows. It is fairly well known that the Madras Bar Association has been at the forefront in mounting challenges for tribunalization, and in that context, in 2021, 7 Supreme Court cases 369, one of those series of challenges where you wanted to streamline the tribunalization in all spheres, company, tax. The Madras Bar Association has been relentless in its efforts to ensure judicial independence of tribunals. And even more came in 2022, 12 Supreme Court cases 455, that the Madras Bar Association continues its relentless struggle in its endeavor to make tribunals effective avenues of administration of justice. So to be invited by an association which is coming for high praise for maintaining the independence of judiciary is a unique honor, it is a blessing. It is also a pleasant coincidence and a blessing that it is along with the inauguration of the library section of a very distinguished senior member of the bar, whose both his sons are known to me. And I am privileged that Madam is here to bless me on this occasion. Thank you so much, ma'am, for the blessings that you have showered. At the outset, of course, I have so many people to thank. I thank the collegium, I thank my parents, I thank my family. But coming to the point straight, my first recollection, and I will thank my gurus a little in detail in the end, of coming here is in 1993. It was an interesting case for the then Chief Minister here. There was a memorandum given to the governor saying that she was disqualified because of some contract with the government, and they invoked Section 9A of the Representation of People Act, supply of goods. Our case was that the sole Chief Election Commissioner then, Session, was biased because he had filed a suit in the Delhi High Court against the UNI through the wife of the complainant. So the writs were prepared, the writ affidavit was prepared in Delhi, and the typeset was prepared in Delhi because they said it's very secretive and you have to prepare it and carry it. So that gave an opportunity first to look at Wade's administrative law. And our only problem was the doctrine of necessity. But we found cases which said that, stray cases which said if it comes to natural justice, even necessity will get trumped. I don't know, but it was a doubtful area. We came here and we moved the matter before Justice Bhaktavatsala. And notices were issued. Since it was a prohibition, interim orders followed. And the matter was posted and was argued, and we succeeded. But if I can only digress a bit, Madras Bar, Chief, apart from the brilliance, known for its deadly sense of humor. It can be really deadly because I remember that case. It was moved on 31st of March 1993. I had come with Mr. Venugopal the previous evening, and we received news that a senior lawyer of Delhi who had settled here had passed away. Mr. Venugopal, being a very strict stickler to principles, he said I would first pay my respects there and then go to court. So we first drove to the house, paid our respects, and then came to the court. Notices were issued and posted for 26th of April 1993. being a first in case here, 25th evening we came here, one of the elderly juniors who went on to be a very eminent lawyer in the office of Mr. M.K. Nambiar had passed away. So that morning again we went, and the matter was parted, kept for July. So there was this middling lawyer in the instructing lawyer's office. In the car, he accosted me, came near me and said, last time you came, we went there, he said. I said, yes. Today we went here. I said, yes. Matter is now in July. I said, why are you saying all this? He said, we all have families. If you can indicate your next target. So, I even now share it with Mr. Venugopal. The matter, we succeeded on merits. Writ was issued not only restraining him, it was also a declaration that there is no contract for supply of goods. The matter was carried to the division bench. When I got my first chance to appear in the Madras High Court in the rejoinder, because Mr. Venugopal was stuck in a parterre in Delhi. After the respondents' arguments, an ordinance was issued making the election commission a multi-member body. So the only problem we had of doctrine of necessity got sorted out, because we could argue that the three will assemble and the chief will recuse and the other two will hear. So the ordinance was carried by me from Delhi, and I had to hand it over to Chief Justice K.S. Swami and Justice Somasundaram in the prestigious Chief Justice Court which you adorned, Chief. That was the first appearance. So when I got up and handed over the ordinance, the Chief Justice said, but this is an ordinance which has come yesterday. I said, yes, Chief Justice. How did you get it? He said, young man, Lord, I have come from Delhi. Oh, I see. Okay. And then the case succeeded on that, saying that even though doctrine of necessity may have applied, but now there is a multi-member body. Matter went on to Supreme Court, it's a reported judgment. The other two matters which I want to mention very briefly is a set of heavy criminal trials and appeals which were in Madras, which were argued for over a month in the trial courts, and then before Justice Dinaka. And that was some experience. Two sets of CC numbers resulting in multiple appeals, exhibits marked in both the trials with different numbers. Matter involved questions of criminal law, evidence, company law, administrative law, constitutional law. Not having much of work, I had prepared it for a couple of months to brief the senior, but barely 3-4 days into the matter, it became a challenge to keep pace with Justice Dinakar on the exhibit numbers. We were nervous because you say something and it is wrong, he will tell you exhibit so-and-so and CC4, exhibit so-and-so and CC6, and then marshalled it and gave a judgment, the entire volume of CTC of which Justice Lakshmi Narayan, the editorial board, I think, I remember, MLJ, I think, one exclusive volume was devoted to it. The third case is very recently, 2019, before Justice Shivanyanam as the Chief Justice then was, and Justice Bhavani Subbarayan was here, went on for months on end, and it was such a wonderful experience. And every time I would come here, I would meet my friends in the Madras Bar Association. But Madras is also special because not only have the members of this association showered their blessings on me, they showered on me considerable amount of work. At one point of time, exclusively my work was from Chennai, and I thoroughly enjoyed because matters would be crisply prepared. Our pleadings were always, brief and to the point. All the authorities cited. Madras High Court has a lot of history and tradition. And I've always been curious in Mr. Venugopal's office. Not only the biographies, you have quite a few of them, but those of you youngsters here, don't miss the jottings and cuttings column of the Madras Law Journal. It can really give you tremendous information. And Sunday afternoon, when your spirits are drooping, just pick them up and read this wonderful instances as to what Norton replied, what Bhasham Iyengar said, or Sir S. Subramanian said. And I remember reading one instance of how a repartee in court helps. It appears the case pertained to an application to remove a flagstaff in a temple on the allegation that the jewels of the deity were stolen and hidden under the flagstaff. And the lawyer argued that, no, how can you do? It's a very sinful thing. He appealed to religious injunction, but it appears the counsel, I don't recollect the name, retorted saying, if fiat justitia is reat coelum, justice is to be done even if heavens fall, how can you deny merely because the flagstaff would fall? So the wonderful instances I mentioned because, that's the association we have with the Madras High Court. I may not have been a practitioner here, but my mentors, Mr. Vaidyanathan, with whom I chambered from 1988 to 1990, an elder brother to me, who is a very senior member. He was practicing here, he migrated to Delhi and he became additional solicitor. Gave me a number of opportunities to argue. Those days Supreme Court would give 2 passovers, and if the senior doesn't land up in the second passover, you could argue your matter. And thereafter, through his aegis, the opportunity to work with Mr. Venugopal. It was a sheer blessing. I think accidents happen in life, so I was there at the right time and at the right place. It was an office which was extraordinary. We had associates drawn from all sections of the society, all religions, and the fraternity was practiced to the hilt in the chamber, and work of the highest quality was turned out. He is a senior who relied on the juniors, and even today, for any major decision, he is consulted, including for the last one. Except that on one occasion, I must mention, soon after I was engaged, my wife Jayashree has played a major role in whatever has happened in life. After our engagement, before our marriage, she was keen to meet, and I took her there and went with a bouquet. And Mr. Venugopal is very business-like. So the first thing she asked her was, "You realize what you're getting into?" And he's been a fatherly figure. I have no words to thank him. I must also mention my stint at Coimbatore with Sri K. Ramachandran, senior advocate. He allowed me access, or ingress and egress, as you would like to call it, from 1983 when I joined the law college. I could go whenever I want. I could be with him, go to college, come back, go sit around. Those days, all those papers that police report, folded papers in chain language, Tamil, there was aversion to read, but we could just sit around and listen to him discuss with parties, discuss with other senior juniors, and that was a great experience. Too early for an autobiography, but I'm just mentioning to say that how chances and accident plays a part in life. I'm deeply beholden to you. I don't want to detain you any longer. Thank you, Chief Justice, for sparing afternoon. Thank you, Honorable Judges. Thank you, all the senior members, and wish you all the best. And I am deeply beholden for all of you to have taken out time and come here this afternoon. I also thank my family members. My daughter Sukanya is coincidentally here for some work, and I have come here for a function. And my younger daughter Suvarna, my father, Mr. Venkatraman, was a prosecutor in the trial courts at Pollachi and Coimbatore, and for 5 years he was standing counsel for criminal cases in the Supreme Court. And my mother, I thank all of them, and I thank you very much for this meet and greet program. I called it, I wanted Mr. Kamalnathan to call it meet and greet for a very selfish reason. Because when you felicitate somebody, you felicitate for a body of work. So otherwise it will be like arguing with a bare act. So yes, there has been, I enjoyed my work at the bar. God has been kind. So thank you very much for coming this afternoon. And
Yeah.
Conclude your vote.
He is going to. Okay, we will have photograph.
Respected President, Hon'ble Justice K.V.Viswanathan, Judge, Supreme Court of India, Hon'ble Chief Justice, companion judges, former Judge Justice K.N. Basha, Hon'ble Advocate General, respected seniors and my dear friends, on behalf of the Madras Bar Association, I deem it a rare privilege to propose a vote of thanks for all those who have assembled here today in this afternoon despite a busy schedule. I thank every one of you, especially Hon'ble Justice K.V. Viswanathan, who has come all the way from Delhi, a son of the soil. Sir, you have made all of us proud. Thank you very much for spending the afternoon with us. I also take this opportunity to thank our Honorable Chief Justice, who has been kind enough to be present with us. I also thank the Honorable Judges who have been here in such large numbers. A special thanks to the family members of Late.Shri.R.S.V., who gave us this opportunity to name a library section in the name of a great dawn of yesteryears. This is the 64th library section. Special thanks to the head of the family, Madam Saroja, who is here. Whomsoever goes to their office is first received by this great lady, who is always called as a mother by all of us. She treats all of us like her own children. You will be received with a cup of coffee, a very hospitable lady. Thanks a lot, Amma, for coming to MBA today. We are all honored. I also take this opportunity to thank the other family members, especially Mr. Raghavachari, Senior Advocate, Justice Lakshmi Narayanan, Madam Srimati, Avinash, and the budding lawyer Navneet. Thank you, one and all. Thanks to the committee members of the Madras Bar Association and also the staff of the Madras Bar Association who made it today. Thanks to one and all.